Welcome back. In this video, we'll explore Orchestrator's main concepts, such as tenant entities, folder entities, roles, and permissions. It might seem challenging to use Orchestrator at first, but it becomes easier once you learn that hierarchy is important, as some entities exist in the tenant context, while others exist in the folder context, and that users have different roles and permissions. Let's begin with tenant-level entities. We'll go through them one by one. On the robots page, we have the breakdown of all of the robots created for our account with different robot types. Folders help us maintain fine-grained control over the automations that we publish and their associated resources. A personal workspace is your own modern folder where you can keep your processes and assets used in automations, as well as read data about jobs and logs. A machine refers to a physical or virtual machine that's connected to Orchestrator and has the UiPath robot software installed on it. We'll create a machine template in our next video, so stay tuned for that. All of the projects published from UiPath Studio are shown on the Packages page. On the Libraries tab, we can view and delete all libraries published from UiPath Studio. Great! These are a few of the entities that we'll use in our next videos. Let's now talk about folder-level entities. We've created a folder called Orchestrator Overview for this demo. An overview of the entities and activities by folder is available on the homepage. Processes, as we've learned, are the automation projects associated with a folder. We can run processes from Orchestrator just by clicking the Start a Job button. Alternatively, we can go to the Jobs page. A job represents the execution of a process on a UiPath robot, as you might have guessed. Next, triggers can be used to execute processes in a pre-planned manner, at regular intervals, when a specific event occurs, or whenever a new item is added to a queue. And lastly, the Logs page displays logs generated by robots when a job is run. These are useful for debugging purposes. Now let's take a look at folder resources. Do you have any idea what those might be? Indeed, they refer to entities that can be used in a process, such as files, folders, credentials, or queues. Queues are containers that can hold an unlimited number of items. Queue items can store multiple types of data, such as invoice information or customer details. This information can be processed in other systems, SAP or Salesforce, for instance. Think of assets as being specific pieces of information that may change, such as addresses or values, or that you need to be careful with, like credentials. By storing them here, we add an extra layer of security, and we can use them for different automation projects. Storage buckets provide a per-folder storage solution to use when creating automation projects. For example, a .pdf file used across multiple business processes, or datasets used for a machine learning model. We're making fantastic progress so far. It's time to understand roles and permissions in Orchestrator. If we navigate back to Tenant and then Manage Access, we'll see a page where we can assign roles. Now, what does this mean? In UiPath Orchestrator, roles are groups of permissions that determine what actions a user can perform within Orchestrator. By assigning a role to a user, we grant them access to specific features and functionality based on the permissions associated with that role. We can add a tenant role or a folder role from the Roles tab, which will provide the necessary permissions for users to access the features associated with that role. As an example, here's a user that has two default roles assigned. Allow to be folder administrator and allow to be automation user. We can also check this at a folder level by going to the Settings page where we have the Manage Access tab. This one displays the accounts currently assigned to this folder. If we click on Edit for this account, we can see that it has the folder administrator role as seen earlier. We've covered a lot of important details in this video that'll be useful in the upcoming videos, so make sure to keep these in mind as we move forward. We've reached the end of this video, which covers the essential Orchestrator features that automation developers should be familiar with. To summarize, folders and tenants allow us to manage and organize our automation resources in a structured way. Folders provide isolation at the resource level, while tenants provide isolation at the organizational level. Thank you for watching and see you soon.